Wisdom of the Peepal Tree. By KVRAGHUPATHI. First published in 2003. By Minerva Press India, New Delhi, and republished in 2014. By Authorspress, New Delhi. Dedicated 4. Dvanuloka, Mysore. Acknowledgement. I am grateful to late Professor C.D. Narasimha, a great teacher, critic and aesthete, for awarding me the H.D. Thoreau Fellowship, which facilitated the creation of this small fragrance at Dvanuloka, Mysore in May. June 2000. KVRAGHUPATHI. I stroll to the colossal peepal tree, inscrutable, enigmatic and mysterious, that I have looked for unwittingly deep in my consciousness. Now I traced it, rather it called me to it. Standing like Yamateswara in infinite space, stretching its twisted, convoluted limbs as far as it can, overwhelming the land and space with its dangling leaves like hanging bells of Dwajastamba, and huge girth-like mound in the fields, it beckoned me, rather in a strange way. Here, I have come at last, my life with great fulfillment. I sit on the encircled granite stone, under its firmament in a quiescent evening. I feel a sense of emptiness swallowing me like a huge tide. In that abysmal state of vacant mind I hear the uncommon, exotic, exceptional, sacred voice from the quiver of leaves. I am the peepal, ageless, ancient and primitive. The primordial flows in me. People call me sacred. I am a fallen angel from paradise, but anointed in bliss. I am called the inverted Buddha, the pyramid Buddha. I am a native of the cosmos. I am the quickest growing tree. I grow in creeks and in holes, in forests and in wild woods. I am present everywhere like the nimbus. Thunder and lightning, rain and heat never affect me. I absorb everything. Hence, I am huge and tall. My every cylindrical leaf is puffed with wisdom. The thin point at the end that droops down points that all life begins at the roots. All life ends at the roots. My leaves don't fold up in the day and night. My only regret is that when once fallen on the ground, their wisdom disappears right away. O traveler! O restless soul! O seeker of the unknown! Before you there is no road. Behind you there is no road. There is no west or east. There is no north or south. There is no center. You are in a circle without circumference. Yet, you are trudging in the vast land, unaware of your own deceptions. In the midst of water you are alone, swimming like a blue whale. In the midst of the mountains you are alone, wandering like a lost wild goat. In the midst of the valleys you are alone, plodding like a hare. Up is the blue sky, down the colored earth, longing to meet, merge and dissolve. Yet, the earth is earth, the sky is sky. Yet, no earth, no sky, no ford, no shore, no time, nothing. No mind, no body. You have come to me to still your mind, still your body. Upon completion of its strange voice, thus I spoke, as the cattle drudged on the open sun-kissed green ground, on the roadside, unmindful of the rolling vehicles. Let your roots of wisdom penetrate every cell of my body like the river and its tributaries and streams that cut deep into the earth. Let your wisdom enter my veins and arteries till I merge with nature. Give me bodhisattva, O tree of knowledge and wisdom, O tree of enlightenment. It was dark, the stars opened the doors to let light flow out in small quantities. Under the tree I was alone, like a red-breasted stork abandoned by its community. Yet, I sat through, in anticipation of some more sublime voice to rend my ears. But disappointed. I saw the sage-like tree dropping only the unwanted grey leaves, each one merging with the darkness. Each fallen leaf, it looked as though was blessed with wisdom. I heard no voice. I realized the futility of my sitting. With one deep look and longing to return to it, I strolled back to my cabin. Back in my cabin, I was filled with strange feelings of nervousness and inanity. I dozed off with a deep disappointment and yearning for more sparks and light. I remembered the sparks of wisdom that fell from the tree, like droplets, and ignited my spirits. Next evening I returned to the Peepal Tree with an unqualified longing to become the Bodhisattva. I perambulated and sat. Here I am, O tree of knowledge and wisdom. Guide me, lead me into your abode. And allow me to drink your wisdom. Upon my arrival, the leaves rustled. With a voice, tinselled with a magic spell. You are strung by your own thoughts that wander like bees in an empty land without honey. The only disease that is incurable by any medicine is your restless, bewildered mind. The healing lies nowhere but in your own tiny palms that hold water full of your own reflections. When you lose your purpose, you are like a cruising spoonbill in the sky. When you are stripped of your will, you are like a fledgling in the nest. When you are devoid of relations, you are like a fallen leaf in a summer gale. When you disown everything, you are like an unplucked maroon rose, tossing in the cool evening summer light. It matters not whether you build a house or not, whether you own a car or not. When you are a no other man, you are like a lark in the bush singing alone in ecstasy. When you lose the other in you, you are like a rabbit, waiting for the fresh grass. You will find yourself one with existence. Then why fear, like the frightened rat in a hole, in the autumn storm? Live yourself and die for none. When you are steadfast, like the medieval king, you are easily bent, like the edge of a branch. When you are easily bent like a thin broken stump, you are unsteady like a rope walker. When good comes, it comes like a robin from the east in the morn with abundant melody. You are then lifted up like an albatross over the bluish waters. What is to be extinct is not you but the not you in you. You are then born and rejuvenated and rehabilitated like the Siberian crane in the summer. The outcast is you, the beggar too is you, because you estrange yourself from the whole. Because you expect returns from whatever you do and don't do, all for yourself, your kith and kin, who will acknowledge you when you don't know how to live without dying, and how to die without pain. Did you, at any point of time, claim you were most unimportant, insignificant and invalid in your world? If not, do it right now. You are of no importance and consequence in this vast, boundless cosmos. Like the last falling leaf in autumn, you are unsafe because you take yourself out of flux of mortal time, and hence, the question who you are remains a riddle till the end. You coil yourself like a snake to hide yourself in a pit like self. So, you are shrouded in mystery. You know well you can create a marvelous form from a fraction of thought. In that there is not a secret self. You are enveloped and have become unperceivable. Hence, all consequences are illimitable. Equanimity is like a fluttering cloud without losing its gaiety. Tranquility is like the clean sky without smudges. Equanimity is like the roots on which the trunk stands firm. Tranquility is like its foliage that bears the vagaries of weather. Equanimity is like the perfect distance between the stars. Tranquility, like the bright orbiting moon, is noticed by none. First grow your roots strong in your consciousness. You are as impatient and restless in your own anxiety and tension. You think nothing will befall you, because you feel safe like the hibernating polar bear. Even a rat knows when it rains. But you are already crestfallen and debased. No good comes out of you. No virtue fascinates you. You take refuge in your own self like the ibis in a distant land of water, which is borrowed stuff. So, there is no daybreak. It is always night and darkness with no dotting lights of wisdom. What is there to be opened? When you can perceive every object in nature, you are beyond conceptions and descriptions, expectations and anticipations. You are essentially and truly a believer to the marrow of your bones. A believer standing precariously like the Pisa Tower. Why don't you throw that state of mind and remain like a kingfisher, watching the fish come out of the still water? you are fundamentally and really a skeptic. To the last drop of blood in your body. A skeptic like the unsteady butterfly in the unsteady wind. Why don't you set out from that state of mind? And remain like a huge banyan tree on the cliff without falling? The fault lies in you. Because you confess your evil in hatred. There is no ample righteousness in your actions to be justified in love, because love never claims. Like the flower the worshipper, nor can it claim and be owned like its fragrance, by the passer-by. The way is not far from you. It is as near you as your own shadow, though the stars are far away. The light spreads its white carpet on the ground and shines in you. Then, why do you crave for the sun in the hot summer when the full moon gives your own reflections in winter? You are the opposite, the poles apart are in you a bundle of contradictions. But strength and power lie in you. In disowning the opposites and contradictions. Finding meekness is like groping for lost innocence in darkness. You are certainly blessed. If you sincerely disobey the coercing of your inner contradictions and contradistinctions, there is life in your living. Like fresh water in a hollow. When you die and rise like the mythical phoenix, every moment there is victory and honor. In your defeat and powerlessness, do you want to live? Then, accept death now. Like the tiny flower in the stormy wind. Do you want to love and to be loved? Then, accept hatred. Like the sand that sucks the water. Do you want honor? Then, accept humiliation. Like the cow succumbing to the butcher's knife. Do you want contentment? Then, accept your state of disorder. Like the just-born leaves, entwined by the creeper. Do you want peace? Then, accept your own warlike condition. Like the wild buffalo in mass exodus from the dry land. Do you want freedom? Then, accept your own bondage like the domesticated cat. Do you want happiness? Then, accept your own sorrow. Like the trampled bud on the gravel. Rise from the dust and din of your own creations. Like the wallowing donkey from the murky ground. You shall reach sky high, like the Andean condor. Fly in the infinite sky like a falcon. You shall be terrestrial soon like a kiwi. You are primarily a human being. Be human and a being, therein lies your essence. What a creature of clay you are. With pride you are farther from creation. With humility you are nearer to existence. Take heed of yourself first, before you plunge others into your domain and shed the intentions of covetousness. You shall surely be led to the doors of contentment like the chieftain to the treasure chamber. Who do you want to be nearer to? To your filial relations? Or to your diabolical self-images? Amidst them you are a non-entity like the decaying fruit in the swamp. You can never be alone, rather difficult to be so. It is identification that brings longing. It is alienation that brings misery. Then, you become crude, desperate, wretched and useless. With no sanctity of existence of your own. The secret bond is not in your birth, nor is it in the fact of your relations. Nor is it in the domain of self-created images. It was there even before you came into this world, and that is single-mindedness. You and I and everything are nothing but one, existence is one, indivisible like the wind. Realize this at once, here and now. The bond is never broken. You crave equity, and lose it. You can never find outside of you. You cannot obtain it from the other. Against the world you may stand aloof, withdrawing like the receding flamingos in the backwaters. But the root cause of misery is in your non-acceptance of that world of which you are the protagonist. You complain against the world. The world complains against you. Both are one and the same. In both ways you are the victim. In your complaints you can never fulfill yourself, nor can you lend yourself to anyone and anything. Attain the unattainable. You will miss nothing in your life like the Bodhisattva. Why all this cry? These weepings, these sobbings, these copious tears, for whom and for what? Of what use are these fears of your own future? Why all this agony? Why all this despair? Why all this despondency? The riddle is rooted in you, solve it by losing everything. Like the stripped birches in autumn. Say that I am wrong, I am faulty, I am a fool, you will become wise like a dolphin. Say that I am right, I am just, I am honest, you will become a fool like a dunce mule. Deny right, accept wrong. You will move from being imperfect to perfect, like no moon to full moon. Like bud to flower. From being non-essential to essential, like flower to fruit. From being non-entity to entity, like fruit to a seed, with a tree in it. Today with the infinity you must live and love and live. Tomorrow you shall resurrect like Christ. Likewise end with the infinity and be born like Christ day in and day out with no trumpet blowing. Thus you become holy in the truest sense. No saint is needed to bless you. No philosopher is needed to dispense with your stupidity. No teacher is needed to disperse your dark clouds. Oh, beauty is in your own living. Shrine is in your own heart. The image is your own tended self. Why do you go to a temple to worship? You are perfect only when you are perfect in love. When you empty your lust and narcissism. You are as simple as a reed on the roadside. It needs no watering and nurturing. It grows on its own. Then you may talk of sunshine. But you will give everything unto every creature. Nothing awakens you to religious consciousness, like suffering. Your sorrow comes from your burning heart for the great. When it is full with the froth of your tears, your prayer is answered in silence. When you wax, you will burn like a candle and glow, and you are as serene as still waters in the secluded forests. If you have not seen the devil, then lift the veil of images. In the mirror you see. You are consumed by your own wee self, sheer narcissism. When you do not loathe what you have done so far for yourself, when you do not despise what you have done unto others, when you do not dispense with all that you have attained falsely. You cannot extricate yourself from the marrow of sins. Why beseech God for renunciation and redemption? In the house of deceptions, you are maligned like a moss-hard rock crouching on the riverbed. To show yourself what really you are, you must not seek the blessings of a saint. The grace is in you. Like the fragrance in a flower in shrubbery, the will is with you. Like the seed in a banyan tree. It is for you to consolidate gains by losing, like the farmer before the onset of the freezing winter in the steppes. Ask not whatever you give in return, like the tulip the beauty of its color. Return whatever you receive. Like the reflected moon in the pool. Hence, there are no givings and receivings. In the end you are endowed with more than those who ask and receive. You will have a perfect balance sheet of life. And you can quit this world like an unknown bird dying in an unknown forest. To perceive in yourself is a real stabbing. It is a real suicide. That is the death of the house of deceptions. That is the extinction of all your illusions. You are at once, then back to normal existence. Like the proverbial lion realizing his true face, from his own reflections in the pond. That is, you are clear and near to everyone and everything like any creature in nature. You are 100 times worse than others have declared. But beyond your assertions and exertions of actions, beyond your conceived evil and infidelity, beyond your works that bring honor and dignity, beyond the gravest of your existence, you are like a star absorbed in the lake. And never rely on it for munificence. Set your heart free from hope and expectations, fears and aspirations. Like the water let loose from a pump in the fields. For, you have come from the original silence. Your desire is rooted in the hopelessness to realize this. And your total despair is the beginning of this awakening. Because you lose everything in the world. Hence, be silent like a lizard on the wall without clucking. For, you have refashioned and refurbished your house and doors. And the key is with you to unlock it, to lock yourself like an owl in winter. Your life in wanderings is useless. It brings no returns, but an enhanced ego. You are a dry valley in summer. You can wet it and fill it with cascades of love and compassion in the monsoon. You are a ruined city in autumn. You can rebuild it with sympathy and understanding in spring. And you are a frozen forest in winter. You can animate it with truth and beauty in summer. Never cease to come closer to every object of beauty and never run amok and pluck a thing of joy. In a sheer imperialistic way. For, whether you go nearer or not, the fragrance is ever present. To spread and offer even to a non-supplicant. Hence, all your excess devotion and repentance have no meaning. All that comes from vanity is deceit. You are created weak in your dissimulation. You are self-assertive, yet you are untrustworthy. You are confident, yet you are unbelievable. You are hopeful, yet you are in despair. You are sympathetic, yet you are insensitive. You are lovable, yet you are hateful. You are constantly deluded by your own bloated conceptions, rooted in hopes and desires. When you are alone, you are still astray. This is you in opposites. He who is in fear of others is in fear of himself. He who is untrustworthy to others will be untrustworthy to himself. He who does not confide in himself will not confide in others. What you desire will perish right in front of your eyes. What you hope for the best will never resurrect you. When you aspire, you miss the beauty of creation. When you are yourself, you are in harmony with the whole existence, like the flock of flamingos in the forest. Humiliation is the boy's play. Meditation is the man's living. When you cannot sense and feel a simple injury, you can never withstand temptation and mortification. Your forgiveness lies in your forgetfulness. Your forgetfulness lies in your forgiveness. You can never reach the depths of your heart by your many works, accomplishments and distinctions, but by diving deep and shaking the bedrock of your hard-heartedness. Abandoning all your claims, faults and accomplishments, you can convert the explosive into a smooth-running stream. You can transform the crude coal into pure diamond. You can remake your brown life into an evergreen pine tree. Give your possessions to the dispossessed. The excess is an unwanted disease. You cannot live with it, as it eats your anatomy, like the pest. Your food is that which sustains your body. Your clothing is that which covers your body, your dwelling is that which shelters your body. Take what is required. Give what is not yours, part with the unused. Alone in the desert, like a camel, move on. When death comes, die valiantly. When others rot in their own possessions, you can be intact, not claiming that is not yours. Not even your own house, like the weaver bird. Take that which is essential for your living, and leave the rest unclaimed for humanity. Though you are sailing in the ship is not yours. Stand to your feet, firm like the taloned hawk. Turn your face to the setting sun behind the mountain like cloud, look down at the earth. That is not quiet like the morning sky. When you grip nothing in your hands, you are unmolested by your own enticing desires. Your alienation lies, not in your severance from all, but in the pursuit of all, in the world. That is the paradox of your living. Proceed from yourself first, that is the point of beginning. And you return to it like the bumblebee. Deliver nothing unto others. You are endowed with the intimate knowledge of emptiness. Goaded by your desire, you wander, like a lonely bison in the prairies. Tired, you will return with no discrimination but intense dissatisfaction. You gain nothing except the deep feeling for quest. What is the use if you cannot put the fire of quest off? There is no freedom until the quest that persists is dropped like the ripened cherry. The essence is in living. All else, writing and speaking, is the fire of desire. Delusion is not accepting whatever comes, but deceit is one's own believing in everything. Your treasure lies in your spirit, but your measure in matter. Quit from self at once and become goalless. When you hold nothing in your hands, you are not wrapped by your deceptive desires. He who is steadfast in true living has attained the very essence of all that is, like a lotus leaf in the pond. To whom shall you return? Is there anyone at the end to receive you? Your kith and friends are none but swept in the conception of good and evil. Then remain where you are, aligned to none. Though you are sailing in a boat, you abandon it on reaching the shore. The countenance of your living is always marred by your own irrationalities, absurdities and oddities. Why do you rely on those glitterings that barely give you warmth of understanding and sensitivity? When you are attached to the sky, you will lose the earth. When you are attached to the water, you will lose the grip. When you hold the clouds, you will slip and fall. Hold the firm, you will lose the soft. Hold the soft, you will forget the firm. The soft and the subtle is like the blue in a buttercup. You cannot cup it in your hard hands. Rise up anew from the death of each passing moment. Never look back to the old and dead. True living is scrapping the dead and forgetting the unborn. Take your hands back and open the gates of your heart. Welcome into the inner part the great joy that manifests in everything. Take refuge in nothing, that you may escape from the world's great mystery. Anything that opposes in secret is anathema to your existence. Receive that knowledge, not from books and institutions which corrupt your thinking. When it comes from the serenity of moon and night, it is illumination of the vast sky-like heart. That knowledge which springs from your heart never goes dry like the perennial Mancharova. When it is awakened by a desire of the deep quest, it is a perennial flow like the Ganges. Follow the flow and sail with it until it is one with the cosmic flow, and never again gets stuck in the valleys and gorges. There is no other in the final transmission. It is you who is transmitted in utter despondency from the other, into the other. Receive that transmission in the depths of your heart in silence, which bears fruits, nothing but sweet fruits, and be blessed inwardly. Let not your heart rely on others for living, but rely on your own virtue and piety, and travel on the road of yours, like a tern in the sky over the azure waters. Give not your way to others, and erase as you pass with the mercury of mercy. Having chosen your way, be not weak in heart. Walk tall like the grand giraffe in the dark continent. Discard the virtue of others, and come under the shadow of yours, like tender leaves under the shadow of coarse leaves, and enjoy the proximity of the one which is near. That is, Mother Nature. Turn away from the dust of your living, and dive deep into your non-entity, and feel the great joy manifested in abundance. When you hasten with evil, you can never forgive others, nor can you obliterate yourself and love others. Mercy is with you when you plead the cause of others' sufferings. Love is bestowed on you when you do not plead your cause with others. Freedom comes to you when you express solidarity with others without choice. Peace follows you when you do not get shattered by passion. Betray not yourself even when others betray you. Surely, you are with the whole existence. When you find yourself amidst many, when you are hostile with nativity, you are in defense, you are concerned with yourself. Therefore, you are in misery. As you want to extricate yourself from the conflict, you manage yourself, resulting in further conflicts. Thus life moves in eternal conflicts. Who are you? All power originates from being self-conscious. Become powerless inwardly. The rest flows like a natural spring. Would you know what the way is? It is freeing the mind from mind, and acting on the spur of the moment. Like the black panther from a bough without causing injury to your tender brain. It is giving food to the needy soul, which is in distress without rational beliefs. It is soaring high to be attached to the star. It is moving round without getting tethered to the pole. Every thought, but thought of no mind, is corrupt. Every action, but action of no mind, is impure. Every game, but play with rules, is violent. Every prayer, but prayer with no wish, is a voraciousness. Every seeking, but seeking for nothing from nothing, is unreal. Every fulfillment, but fulfillment without greed, is obnoxious. Every freedom, but freedom for spirit, is bondage. Every love, but love with no returns, is possessiveness. Renounce happiness. You shall attain true happiness. Renounce salvation. You shall attain true liberation. Renounce death. You shall die at once, that may lead you to true freedom. Be not passionate for life. You shall then really have true life. Fear not hell. Crave not for heaven. Rear not and nurture not in fears and cravings. For, hell and heaven are made for idiots and fools. Covet nothing, you shall possess everything. Covet everything, you shall possess nothing. Claim not existence as yours. As you claim ownership of everything you buy, it is nobody's property. When you have not known yourself first, gaze until you are lost in gazing, like a bird-watcher. The moving water always makes noise. When it is with the sea you are with tranquility, neither diminished nor increased. He who is acquainted with his origin shall lose his identity. He is a wayfarer. He who is identified with the moment shall know what death is. He is a real being. He who has transcended death shall know the art of living. He is a true artist. But shame on you, as you live, without dying every moment. Disgrace on you, as you live, without being sensitive to every moment of change. Drop the will to live on your way like the kernel of mango. Reject all that obstructs your way. Like the trekker, the brambles and shrubbery. Receive all that is bestowed on your way like the little pond under the grove. Give all that is yours on your way like the disrobed neem tree in autumn. Then, you shall truly live. Turn your face towards the west, to the silence of the mountains in the purple evening. It is anathema to your irrationalities and absurdities. Nourish and cherish that immense infinite silence in you, like your memorable and valuable experience, and never protect that is not yours. Like the sky the unwanted clouds in autumn. Flee not to a place of worship in despair, defeat and desolation, but remain where you are like a peepal tree, and seek refuge deep in the recesses of the heart. Your inward flight will not be an evasion, but become an infant yourself, once again. Define the search for truth. You are nowhere, you miss everything in creation. Seek not everything by speculation and enter into a dilemma and controversy. Like a scholar but live and experience, and cherish nothing. When nothing is grasped and possessed in a mental image, you have come to the existential reality of living. O traveler, sweet traveler! I have given what has been much hated by humanity in the empirical world, what has been untouched by the dark rays of the human mind, what has been untouched by unrighteousness. I am only a tree like any other tree found everywhere, uncared, unnoticed, unattended. Yet, whoever comes to me, I take him into the wilderness away from civilization and sprinkle my primordial wisdom upon him. To the frightened I am the most humble. To show the path, neither new nor old, but never explored and trodden. Do not fear, as I hold you in tight embrace. Not to harm you. Not to make you my worshipper and follower. Not to make you flee from the world of Dharma, but drink together the cup of unpoisoned life. Listen to those falling leaves singing and rejoicing in the wind. Life is not a series of arguments, but an adventure to be sought, full of risks and pains. In oneself, fearing neither the darkness nor the dazzling light. The voice stopped suddenly like the heavy rain. I looked around in suspicion. There was none around except the anonymous creatures which made symbolic sounds. The breeze stopped, the rustling too. I did not realize where I was for a few moments longer. By then I regained my complete consciousness. Everything was over. I could not long any further. Once again I looked around. The lights in the rooms were burning, a few street lights on the campus too, trying to chase the darkness. The moon was yet to rise from her deep slumber. The stars, however, glinted in the dark sky. They were safe, unlike men and women on the earth. A few students in 2s and 3s were standing and chatting endlessly, I could easily notice. They were not conscious of the other world because they were completely enveloped by human knowledge. For them this was real, and they could never go beyond, for they were not trained and taught. Slowly I got up and made my way to my cabin in Vanya Loka. As I ambled, I often turned my back and looked at the huge mysterious tree that gave me profound revelations. There was now no longing in my heart. it was dropped, rather it vanished. My heart was clear like the glassy Walden pond. On the other, it was filled with satisfaction. No doubt lingered in it, like the bee after sucking the honey. Back in my cabin, I ate my small meal. I did not do anything. I sat on the bed long until my eyelids shut. With a sense of deep satisfaction and fulfillment, I said to myself, it was a wonderful experience as I stretched my legs and my back on the bed and slipped into a deep sleep. End of the book. KVRAGHUPATHI. A PhD holder in English literature. Writes in English. He is a poet. Short story writer, novelist, book reviewer and critic. His poetry is rooted in the abundance of philosophy, nature, transcendentalism, imagery and social perspectives, and replete with similes, metaphors, personifications, apostrophe, irony, climax, anticlimax and full of rhetoric and symbols. More often, he takes the readers on the spiritual exploration of radical philosophical thoughts which strongly speak through all the collections. He has taught at 3 different universities, SV University, Tirupati, Yogi Vemana University, Kadapa, and the last being Central University of Tamil Nadu, Thiruvarur, before he had quit to devote full time to writings. His other passions include classical, Carnatic music and yoga. He began writing seriously in 1985. Since then he has published 12 books in English verse, 2 novels, 2 collections of short stories and 4 books on yoga. Besides, edited 7 critical works. His poems and short stories, besides highly scholarly papers, have appeared in various newspapers like The Hindu, The Statesman, print journals and online journals. He is a recipient of several awards that include Michael Madhusudan Dutt Award at Kolkata in 2001, H.D. Thoreau Fellowship, Dvanyaloka, Mysore in 2000. The Best Chosen Poet for 2003, Poetry Society of India, New Delhi Poetry Chain, Mumbai. Lifetime Achievement Award, Chennai Poetry Circle, Chennai in 2010, and Rock Pebbles National Award for Creativity, 2014. Bhubaneswar and Phrasal King Arvind Chaudhary National Award for Poetry. Mahatma Gandhi Education and Welfare Society, Parbhani, Maharashtra. And 2 awards in Yoga, Best Yogic Publication of the Year Award, 2018, and Lifetime Achievement Award in Yoga, 2018, New Delhi. Thank you. Thank you.